What you think about when you're born into a fire? Let them burn it out. Sell them to the richest buyer. They wanna let the world decay. They tell us lies and fade away, fade away. We feel betrayed. We were raised to lose the race. Wake at the back of the pack, kill it anyway. Listen up now, because we're never dropping out. Beat the odds, beat the big house. Our brains are bigger than the doubt. We've been thinking for ourselves, never let the truth fade away. This is bigger than ourselves, we won't let the world burn away, burn away. We feel betrayed. We were raised to lose the race. Wake at the back of the pack, kill it anyway. To blame, haters face the world's mistakes. Wake at the back of the pack, kill it anyway. And we feel betrayed. We were raised to lose the race. Wake at the back of the pack, kill it anyway. To blame, haters face the world's mistakes. Wake at the back of the pack, kill it anyway.
Hello, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to Freaky Fast Broadcasting. Welcome to tonight's race at the North American iRacing Stock Car Challenge Cup Series, otherwise known as the NAISCC Cup Series, for round number 2 here at North Wilkesboro. We're excited for a 170-lap race. It's exciting, short track racing, and we're expecting some short tempers. Before we get to all the racing action, huge thanks to all of our amazing sponsors. That at the Simbox store. If you want to have your chance to have a sim rig at the next level, get yourself a Simbox. It is the best way. It is quality handcrafted buttons giving you 32 functions and will just immerse you into a better situation while racing. You can reach out on Facebook at Simbox Store for very great options. Also on eBay. Don't forget to like their page and also say that Freaky Fast sent you. It's the Simbox Store. You really push our buttons. Also want to give a huge thanks to the ButtKicker. ButtKicker, I mean, if you haven't heard of them, they're practically everywhere. It's a great way to immerse yourselves with your racing rig or with anything. The ButtKicker uses forms of vibration to make you feel the action, not just by hearing it, but by feeling it. The ButtKicker, it really feel what you've been missing. We will be taking a quick break. We'll be right back to racing action, qualifying right around the corner. Again, ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the NAISCC Cup Series, round number 2 of North Wilkesboro. We're still under practice for another 2.5 minutes, but drivers are certainly trying to figure out how their car's going to be reacting. Been seeing a lot of drivers during practice feeling very loose, also a little bit of tight sensations through the middle, but it is going to be a handful here tonight. My name is Sam Dyer. With me is also going to be Robert Moyer, who's also going to be handling all the cameras, and we're excited for all of the action here tonight. It's going to be 170 laps that these drivers are going to be handling. But what's interesting here tonight is we had last week Daytona, the start of the season. We saw Cat 5's racing team, that of Brian Johnson, carrying the victory, and kind of was gifted that with having his teammates following him, of Cedric Hunter, as well as also seeing Zach Hall following suit. All these drivers looking extremely quick here tonight, but new faces have crept in for round number 2. The 0-1 of Corey Heights leading the new squad of RKR Racing. 4 new drivers coming into the league, which is exciting for everyone else, because now there's a lot more competition and new faces. I mean, Cat 5, they're a new team that has just come in. Now you've got RKR and all the old faces of drivers that were looking strong, just like that of Tom Sinchak, our back-to-back championship winner. He's trying to make it 3 in a row this season, but he's got some tough competition for him to worry about. As you're seeing, the drivers still going around. Still a minute left in practice, and Corey Hyde's going to be on top of the board with an 18.551 second best lap time, almost a full 10th faster than that of Zach Hall. Zach Hall's going to have a lot of really work to do. These drivers had practice earlier today and back on Thursday, and during that time got to see a little bit of some 70-lap racing action, a preview of what stage 1 is going to look like. And it was fun to watch. I mean, for some of the drivers that were sticking out to me, Jacob Morris, currently running back in 7th place. He was one of the top contenders early on in practices. Looks like his team might have struggled slightly here, and recognizing that he had a really good short run setup early in practices, and throughout the week, he's been trying to make it better and better long run setup, which is hurting him here with his fastest lap. Other drivers, Cat 5 team of Zach Hall and also Brian Johnson, they were also very quick, battling for the wins during those practice races. But practice is coming to an end. Qualifying here in just a few. Excited to see who's going to be getting the pole position. Track position, so important at short track racing. And we are right around the corner. Man, this is some fun racing action. 170 laps, stage 1 after lap 70. These drivers only have one fast pair to work with, and tires also going to be a factor for us to talk about later on. But qualifying about to get started. Here on screen, it's going to be Danny Cochran in the 2, who is going to be starting currently, just sitting in pit road, and going to have these drivers slowly trickling onto the racetrack. Everyone's going to be having 2 laps to try to put their best time out there. But if you hit the wall, have a little bit of a slip up, it's going to cost you on invalidating the lap that you are currently on. So a lot of drivers got to be a little bit careful, trying to figure out that balance of pushing your car to its fullest potential and also not completely wrecking out here under practice. As here is the 66 currently on track. That's going to be Gregory Skull's going to be starting his time. As on top of the board, going to be Adam Westfield. Adam Westfield, one of those drivers that's hoping to have a good day for himself. And now it's going to be the 94 top of the board. But for the 66, you're seeing here drivers are going to be picking and choosing which lane to go into these corners. The focus is to stay low through 3 and 4. And you can enter in a lot of different places through 1 and 2. But you're seeing Skull, he's going to be going low, staying low, not trying to get on the grass, but get very close. And a great exit for the 66 there. Then into turn number 3, it's actually kind of back it down. Looks like kind of sandbagging that last corner. And now it's going to be done as we're on board with Ryan Bird of the 49. Looks like he'll also be done. Currently 4th on the board. Tom Sinchak going to be topping the board for himself with an 18.661. As I say that, Max Warner tops the board with an 18.634. So almost 300ths faster than that of the 8 goes to the 51. As here is the 0-1 newcomer, Corey Heights, top of the board during practice. We'll see if he can get the pole position here during qualifying. He's starting a little bit higher than what some drivers have been, but still trying to get low, and really his apex for the corner getting as low as he can be. A little bit later than some of these drivers, now entering through 3 and 4. An entry to 3, a little bit more shallower than what we've seen some other drivers. High exit, gotta be careful not to bounce off the wall. That time looks good, and it is fantastic. Almost identical times as Foreigner, but gonna be just beating out the 51 by, it looks like, 10,000ths of a second. I mean, fractions cutting between the 0-1 and the 51. It's now on track. We're watching the 13, Cedric Connor, part of Cat 5. Finished 1, 2, 3 last week at Daytona. As now he'll come to a park. Kyle Rochelle, he is coming out of 4, finishing his final lap here. Currently in 11th. We'll see what the second time around is going to do for the 1. If he's able to best it or not. Kyle Rochelle looks like his time's going to stay 11th currently on the board. And it looks like all the drivers feeling comfortable and set. As I say that, though, looks like we might be seeing some other drivers trying to get on course. Rochelle gets back up to speed. That time not looking good for the 1. This is going to be this is going to be Pittman of the 21. Pittman finished back in that of 17th last week at Daytona. Currently going to be in 29th. We have a possibility of 32 drivers racing here tonight. Pittman, second time going around, going to be moving up to 24th on the board. So great recovery for the 21 there during qualifying. We have got almost a minute left, 1 minute and 5 seconds left in qualifying. And we first driver we saw was Danny Cochran. As now Danny Cochran going to be starting his times, it looks like, for the 2. As most of the field, they are done with their times. And the 2 actually going to be able to move up to that of 4th place after his first time around. So the 2 of Danny Cochran, another one of those drivers to watch out. We'll see if this time is only for short run speed or if he truly has the speed to keep up, as he has finished his qualifying time. Going to be backing it down, 22 seconds left. No one else going to be on course. And it looks like this is going to be where the drivers lie, with Corey Hines. Hines is going to be top of the board. All righty, race time about to start. We'll see the grid here in just a few. Robert Moyer now up in the booth. Robert, we got to see practice and qualifying, and we're about to see the grid. How are you feeling about this race here tonight?
I feel it's going to be a fun race. Thank you, everybody out there, for tuning in here tonight with Freaky Fast Broadcasting with these guys and Sam and Robert up here calling all the action. Hopefully you enjoy the show. From what I'm going to see, though, man, as we're going to bring up the starting grid and let you run right through it real quick here, is it's good. This track's fun, man, but tough. From what I hear, it's very loose.
Oh, yeah, we're going to go through the grid here. It's going to be Corey Hines going to be in the 0-1, getting the pole position with Max Foreigner. Practically both those drivers in front row running identical times, but it goes to the 0-1. Then you got Tom Sinchak, Danny Cochran, Zach Hall, your top 5. Sean Stuffler, as well as Adam Westfield, Jacob Morris, Bird, as well as our Daytona winner of Brian Johnson, your top 10. Moving into our top 20, it's going to be that of Brandon Colley, as well as Kyle Rochelle, Tyler Deggle, as well as that as Martin Morales, Nate Soren, as well as that of Adam Lingle, who's going to be one part of the RKR racing team that just came in this week with our pole sitter. Then we move down to 17th. That's going to be Vincent Sora. Surprising qualifying run for the 15. Expected him to be in the top 10. He's going to have to figure out a rebound to go through the traffic. Cedric Connor going to be in 18th with Dakota Moniz and Marcus Gomillion, your top 20. Colin Bauer going to be in 21st position with Aaron Kralik, and Trevor Ehart going to be in 23rd with Austin Halsey, and that of Pittman, Tremmel, Escal, as well as that of Daniel Keith Jr. going to be in 28th position. 29th, you got James Foss, as well as that of Jesse Thordick. and those drivers that did not put a time down in 31st and 32nd, James Loveland and Patrick Hernandez. That is your starting field here tonight, but I don't think that's where most of them are going to be laying down at the end of this race.
No, I do not believe so, Sam. This is going to be a fun race to watch. We're going to see how these guys navigate the setup. I heard, like I said before, it's very, very loose. We'll have to see how they navigate this here around here at a fun track, very old track, and give credit to iRacing for bringing this bad boy back from back in the 70s and 80s and 90s, and thought we'd never be able to race this track again, but here we are, getting ready to go green flag racing.
Yeah, one more pace lap around for these drivers, and looking at some of the drivers, it looks like that of Max Warner, who is going to be starting in second place, not connected, has disconnected from the server. So internet woes for the 51, who is going to have a great starting run. So that moves everyone on the top side up another position. So it scrambles the positioning just slightly, but one of those drivers we were hoping would have a great run here tonight. Now he's got to figure out if he can connect back into the server and hope for a lot more cautions and maybe some positions to gain.
Yeah, he's got an uphill battle now, ain't he? As we're getting ready to go back green, and he's trying to get back into the server here to see what he can do. But we're waiting for the green flag, and it is out. Off we go here. Packed house here. Man, this is going to be fun. Look at this.
Already drivers side by side, almost 3 wide action, going back in around 6th position. Everyone's able to still stay side by side, but the drivers are dealing with that loose sensation, especially on the entry. But it's going to be that of Hustler. Gets pushed by the 23, and they're already scrambling and dicing around. Yellow flag waves as we are customing the start of only lap number 2.
Wow. There's so many cars involved, I don't know if we can even get the data for it, Sam.
I mean, Westfield also looks like that of Collie involved. We saw that of the 94 being bumped by Jacob Morris, and a lot of drivers during practice trying to figure out how to cleanly bump and run someone. Obviously not enough practice. Getting drivers already spun around and likely going to be already going a lap down here early on.
I'm counting this right. We got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 vehicles involved into that.
Yeah, I mean, that started up around 5th position when Hustler got spun around. Wow. So not surprised that we had so many more drivers, both trying to get out of the way of the 94 and running into other vehicles. And looking like Collie had to drive through pit road. Also, Skull had a little bit of troubles where he was going through pit road. Hernandez, Westfield both had to come in. And luckily with this early caution, Max Warner able to get back into the server, but currently 4 laps down, so he's got a little bit more help to do. Looks like coming into the pits, it's going to be the 59, as most of the field, they're going to be staying up front as much as they can because track position is so key, especially at short tracks.
I was just ready to say, I think track position is going to be the key here tonight, Sam. You don't want to be back in that middle of the pack. Not saying that no one can't handle the cars, but I think it's more of a... This is the way I call it, Sam. I always call it bipolar. 1 minute you go into the corners and the car sticks perfectly fine. The next time you go into that corner exiting, and all of a sudden, bloop, off you go, and you don't even know what happened. Nothing against these drivers here, but I just think it's going to be a tough race here tonight. So track position is going to be key, I think once we get back green here and get some laps under these tires, these guys should be able to get the tires warmed up and then be able to handle the car a little bit better.
Yeah, and also I think a sense of you can be a little aggressive early on is the fact that these drivers do have a fast repair to work with. They only have one, meaning that you have a complete car that is you can easily just hop into and take off on pit road. Completely resets your car. Don't need to worry about if you've got a blown engine or not, but you only have that reset once all race. And for some of these drivers, they've already had to use it this early on. So they've got to be careful. Another factor these drivers have to worry about, only 2 sets of tires in pit road for this race. So you got to be very conservative on how you want to be attacking this field with those tires. But pace truck is off, and green flag in the air as Hines and that of Cochran pull off, and really already pulling away. Great restart for themselves as side-by-side between Sinchek and that of Zach Hall.
You see battling back here with Brian Johnson, and who has Simchek's back here. He's battling side by side, and you know, is the high line going to be the place to go here, Sam, or do you definitely want to be on the low line? Because right now it's looking like everybody's trying to merge to the very, very top line right now.
Yeah, I mean, early on, if you're by yourself, the low line is where you want to be, and then it will gradually move up higher and higher. But with how packed the field is and this course being so full, you kind of have to put your car wherever there isn't another vehicle. That means put it low, put it high. If you're able to carry your speed there and you feel comfortable and confident, put your car there, and maybe it's going to stick and take off. But the longer the run goes on, the more I'm expecting to see drivers move up higher and higher. But Corey Heights, I'm looking at the 0-1. His entry into 3 and 4 is so much higher than everyone else, and it actually looks like he's costing him time on the entry. It's the fact that his corners 1 and 2 so much more dominant than the rest of the field.
There's not too much of a big difference from 1 and 2, though, is there? From 1 and 2 to 3 and 4 as radius-wise?
Well, radius-wise, no, but it's the way that these drivers are able to attack it, because North Wilkesboro is such a unique course as that. We're seeing the 42 of Colley heavily damaged, did not take a faster pair, and about to be going a lap down for the 42. Got to be careful up front, but going into 1 and 2, you are actually going uphill, I believe, or you're going one of the two is going up and down. I kind of forgot here for a second, but you were going downhill into 3 and 4, as you see here on the screen, and going down into 3 and 4, going downhill, got to be careful, get hard on the brakes, and then when you're entering here of 1 and 2, you slightly go uphill through the course. So some elevation change. That's what makes this course so unique to others.
Very good point. Very good point. I didn't notice that until you actually said that. All these times that I've raced on the track and watched broadcasting, I didn't realize that.
Yeah, you know, North Wilkesboro, when it was built right on the side of a hill, so it was tilted up and down, and they didn't want to make it equal and flat. So a little bit of a difference, and also makes it to where you have to be conservative on how you're going to be using your brakes and how you set up your brake biases. As we're watching this of Kralik currently in 10th position and able to make the pass there on Martin Morales, moving the 16 up into the top 10. And so looking at some of the other drivers, Vincent Sora slowly behind the 16, also trying to make a move in the 15 car. So a lot of these drivers currently trying to figure out where they want to place themselves, how to move up and down the field, but don't want to jinx it. But we've had a pretty nice green flag run. So I'm pretty excited to see that these drivers have calmed down, and we didn't have another early caution coming out. Still looking at Vincent Sora, trying to get under that of the 24 Morales. Morales running high, and you know, the one perk about running high is it allows you to really launch off the corner and get a move. Oh no! Hard collision, and now spinning around as a lot of hard contact for drivers in the back. Oh man.
Wow. I'm not exactly sure who hit the wall there, Sam, but they bounced off the wall right into the 66.
Yeah, looking at it, I mean, oh man.
Yeah, I don't know who it was. It didn't trigger my...
That was... trying to scatter through to see who exactly it was.
45.
Oh man, that's going to be Daniel Keith Jr.
Yes, that's who it was. Yeah, you can see he hit the wall and just came back down, and unfortunately, it was a traffic jam.
Yeah, and also Keith Jr. hard contact for himself. Looking at some of the other drivers that had some good nose damage. Also looks like the 3 could have had a little bit of damage there. But a driver that was caught up in our first accident of the day and now caught up in our second. That's going to be Hut Stutler, who now pulls into the pits with no front bumper.
Yeah, so we got chat going on out there on YouTube. Thanks for tuning in. Hopefully you're enjoying the stream. I see everybody hopping in over there on YouTube. Thank you again for tuning in here as I'm keeping an eye on everything. Let me know how everything sounds and looks for us here as, man, it's short track racing. We're going to see this all night, ladies and gentlemen. I got a funny feeling we're going to see some long green flag runs, Sam, and then eventually, you start pushing the car too much, and it's going to, you see what happened there? You know, the 45 went right into the wall and back down into traffic, and even it's just nowhere to go. I mean, this track's so small, and you're packing in 32 vehicles. It's like a little Bristol.
Yeah, it really can be at times, especially, with the way that these drivers were getting loose off the corners. That was the biggest thing the drivers were trying to figure out during setups, was how to really relegate that loose sensation that they were getting. But the only way really to conquer your loose sensation is throttle control, on how much you're going to get on the throttle, how early you're going to get on, and how smooth you can be also wheeling this using your steering wheel. Are you being aggressive and turning too much on entry, which is setting up your car to get loose and spin around? Or are you being gentle and then once you get loose, seesawing it and trying to keep it straight the best that you can?
Very well said. It's a lot tonight's going to have to do with throttle control. Play with the throttle. You can't go through the turns and come out of the corners and just stomp on the gas pedal and think that it's going to stick. It's not. The way the setup is built and the way it's looking, that's not going to happen. Now, you might be able to get away with it for like 1 to 2 laps, you know what I mean, with fresh tires. But after that, it's like you said, you're seesawing the wheel and just it's all about throttle control, and whoever can master that here tonight, I do believe, is going to be our race winner. As right now, we got Hines right now really showing the way around here tonight.
Yeah, pace, we're about to go green this time by your top 5. Hines, Cochran, Sinchek, Hall, and Morris, your top 5. As drivers getting ready, and we are green once again. Hines getting a great start for himself. Cochran, though, kind of got caught sleeping, and that's going to be given an opportunity for Sinchek on the inside. Also looks like Zach Hall thinking about going to the high line, but still side by side with his teammate of that of Johnson.
I know if I was out there, Sam, right now I'd say I want to run the high line. I don't think I want to be down below the low line. I think the high line is where to be tonight.
Yeah, but the high line allows you to carry a lot more speed on the entry, and if you're really able to wheel it in, you actually can carry a lot more speed off of exit. You can get on the throttle so much sooner than a lot of these other machines. But you talk about wanting to be on the high side. I think everyone else is kind of listening to you as it is getting clogged up there on that second lane. The question is, and we're starting to see it, drivers, their apex through 1 and 2 almost hitting the wall. And the reason we're seeing so many more drivers moving up the high line is once you get more wear and tear on these tires, the more you want to move up another lane or 2, and then at some point you're going to be right up against that wall once you get close to the end of this race. But Hines doing a great job, and also that of Cochran. They're slowly trying to pull away from that of Sinchek, Hall, and Morris.
That is correct. Now, I've been keeping my eye on here of Morris and Zach Hall. And you watch, Zach don't got a car in front of him or behind him. He's got his room where he can move. And you can see he's diamonding the corners. He's going high and he's going low. But now you look at Brian Johnson back here with Morris, and he is just, you get pinned and you can't run the line that you want to run. So that comes down to throttle play as, we have Rochelle back there in the 1. Who was it? Yes.
Yeah, gotta be careful not to get into that type of hitting. But man, these drivers, they're so close to one another. It's hard not to make contact with some of the other machines. And we're seeing the side-by-side racing as looks like Hall going extremely high, giving room for Morris to go low. And we're seeing about the front, I would say 4 all the way back to around 13th position, all on top of one another. Then there's a slight gap giving us to the second group, where we've got a lot of drivers on top of one another from 15th on back that are on top of and side by side.
Yeah, there's battling going all the way back to the field as we come back here. And Brandon Collies, he's back on the lead lap. He does got some damage, but he did stay on the lead lap there, Sam. So now he's going to try to work his way back up through the field with a little bit of damage. I don't believe that's going to factor him too much. It might hurt on that right front tire in due time. The longer this run goes, it's going to make that right front tire get a little bit too hot, and I think he's going to have to either let off or that thing's just going to plow on him right now. But like you said, man, we got battling all over the place.
Yeah, to touch on Collie, I mean, it's got to be frustrating. Last week was running with his teammates, could have made it a 1-2-3-4 finish for Cat 5, but got caught up in a pit road incident with himself and Soren, and now hoping to have a good day here today. But lap 1 already caught up in something. Caution flag though in the back. Looks like it might have been that of Trevor Ehart as well of Loveland.
Tyler.
And it looks like Tyler Degler also. Degler might have been the cause of this. He blinked out for a second, and it kind of panicked everyone on where he was at. And
oh yeah, you can see right here.
Yeah, Loveland.
He just came down from the sky and landed. Yeah,
that is that's just a poor timing of where drivers in the line.
Yeah, no, he blinked out, scared everybody. But basically, what happened here was Loveland hit, and this is something we didn't talk about yet, Sam. Going down the backstretch, part of that wall sticks out, and he caught that wall, and it slung him around.
Yeah, no, he was already loose coming down the front stretch. Coming out too, he was already loose trying to save it, and I think he ducked it and pulled it left, trying not to hit that little kink on the back stretch. And that of Trevor Ehart, nowhere to go for the 25. But yeah, no, Tyler blinking out certainly scared the back half and spooked some drivers, but luckily it came back around nobody.
Yeah, and that's the thing too, like I just said, something we don't talk about. We just went right by it. There is where you enter and exit the track. There's part of the wall that sticks out when you go down the backstretch. Maybe we can go on board with somebody here, and you'll be able to see it. You really got to pay attention to that as you're swinging out of turn 2, trying to go down the backstretch. You don't want to be right up against that wall, because that will clip the right side of your car and just shoot you straight across the track.
Yeah, I mean, complete no safety measures. As you can tell, this track is extremely old, made for the 80s and 70s, and no safer barriers, as those weren't brought in until the 2000. There's the chink there. I mean, that kink is just one of those things that I've hit on accident, not paying attention on the backstretch, and you hit it, and your car is being launched either more into the outside wall, or you're going to shoot back into someone else. And all these drivers have to be paying attention. And then also other non-safety regulations. You've got the safer barrier, non-safety barriers on the inside where the grass is. Drivers got to be careful there.
That, and also pit road. There's also pit road don't have no pit walls. So as where the pit stall is and where your pit box is, there is no wall there. They just ran out and did your pit stop and ran back in.
Yeah, it was bizarre to look back at some of the races and how they were ran back in the day. And certainly is interesting. But we get to see it here on iRacing. We get to see how, in modern cars, how they would have been attacking this course. And it is a blast to see, as we've had here a couple of cautions. And do want to let everyone know, stage 1 does come out at the end of lap 70. If there is a caution that comes out from lap 67 to lap 70, then the stage will end there. But the drivers are hoping they can run it green for stage 1, and then after that, we race it to the end.
And that's where you want to save your set of tires, and maybe not even take your set of tires at that stage. Hold off, because the trend of going on right now here is that it looks like we're going to have a couple yellows out there, Sam. So what strategy do you play? Do you keep your tires on course right now until you get to that stage, and then you just take fuel and keep running, because another yellow 9 out of 10 is probably going to come out. And if you got that one extra set of tires towards say a quarter mark, 3/4 mark of the race, you could be looking pretty. You could be sitting really, really good.
I just think tires are too important for you to be making types of moves like that. I mean, we're going to be seeing this lap around what Hines is going to be running for the 0-1. His best lap time was an 18.843 this race. He's running about, a half a second off of what his best time is. And we've been seeing it. It's hard to make passes as we're seeing teammates right now for 4th place, that of Johnson and Hunter just side by side duking it out. Cedric Connor has some damage on that right side of the Hello Kitty 13. But he has to be careful here not to bump into anyone else or into the wall as he's running so slow and almost getting their innocent jet.
He's got a little bit of damage as his teammate is on the high side there, Brian Johnson. You got Zach Hall right behind him trying to work his way around there in that Category 5 machine, Freaky Fast style. He needs to change that red to blue. I don't know why it's red. We're not red, are we, Sam?
We're not.
Blue. Sorry, but yes, you can see these guys just battling it out here.
Oh man, I mean, watching these guys, I was watching them on Thursday during practice. It was a lot of Jacob Morris up front running well. Currently, he is back for Morris, back in 6th place, battling hard between himself and Zach Hall and Johnson. And for Morris, it looked like he was good for the first about 15 laps of a run. And then we started to see Zach Hall and Johnson really start to become themselves later on in a run. If we stay green, it was the Category 5 guys that really were making a charge forward. Don't have a lot of data on the 0-1. He was not there during practice, but we know he's got a quick short run set up with these fresh tires. And right now, being hounded by Cochran, but we're going to be having a caution in the back. It's going to be Adam Langle as well as the 22 teammates making some contact.
Ooh.
No, excuse me, not teammates. That's going to be Tyler Dingler, who's going to be involved in that, and Lang, excuse me.
We got the Freaky Fast replay. We'll see what happens here. As we got Adams right there. Let's see. He's coming out of turn number 2.
Yeah, it's going to be on the entry here where you're going to be seeing
overbreak.
Cooked him a little bit too much. Oh, man, and then you're going to see the 22. Nowhere to go, trying to slide across. Then one of those sliding moves where you try not to hit anyone. And kind of blocked up the track a little bit, but that was your Freaky Fast broadcasting replay. It looks like the worst of it really went to the 59, but both of them did a clean job, but both the 22 and the 59 not really collecting anyone else.
Yeah, and I have to say that yellow actually incident there, Sam, looked like a brake bias. It looked like he had probably either, I would say he had too much to the rear of the way that thing went in, and it just slid when he hit the brakes. The back end just came out from him. So he had too much rear brake into it. And, you know, to get these cars to turn here, because he's probably fighting a tight condition, you're going to want to play with that brake bias. This is something that these guys do have here on a fixed setup. So they can play with the steer ratio before the race starts. But during the race, these guys are playing with their brake bias. You know, if you're too tight, you're going to take that brake bias and shift it to the back. If you're too loose, you're going to shift it to the front. And I just think he had a little bit too much in the back, and it locked up the rear end.
Yeah, and also, I mean, you're going into a corner where you got to make sure you get into the brakes a little bit harder because you're going slightly downhill, so you're putting more brake input in than you would going into turn number 1. And just a little bit of those small things can cost you. And now, as you try to get fresh rubber for some of these drivers, looking at some drivers that have taken tires, it looks like Adam Westfield might be one of those drivers. Everyone else kind of came in just to get damage repair because no one wants to use their fast repair just yet unless you have blown your engine or you're down on power, because you never know with a big pile up that could happen on either straightaway. You could be seeing yourself losing an engine, and you'll want to make sure you got that fast repair to continue racing on.
Yeah, most definitely. Because like you said, it just takes one driver, and the way this is short track racing and you got cars all over each other, it just takes one little slip up from a good driver, and you could have, like we've seen now on that first yellow, 9 cars involved. Well, we could see a short track Talladega wreck.
Obviously, we could really see it. We saw a couple of those types of incidences during practice, so we know it's possible. It's a question of how patient are these drivers going to be, because we're going to be going green with less than 20 laps to go in this stage 1. We go to the end of lap 70, and then we close stage 1. Top 5 get stage points, and we've seen stage points be so important to make it into the playoffs. Green flag in the air. Hines going to be getting the best start he's had all race. Over 2-3 car lengths over Cochran, and here comes that of Hunter on the inside of Cochran.
Getting the power move on that low line, seeing if he can try to make it around Cochran there in second position. As Cedric Connor is going to try to take that Hello Kitty and slide her up into second position. He does look like he's clear, but he's not going to slide up. He's going to stick to that low line, and he finally does clear him after two turns.
It might have taken the full 53 laps, but finally, Cedric Hunter no, tackle, gets sideways and now spinning around. Nowhere to go for the high line, hard contact for more, and they're starting to pile up as more drivers piling in and more contact after passing the 32.
Wow, and what did I just say? It takes one vehicle to mess up, and bam, there it is. That was a freaky fast bam. Caution.
Man, that was hard lick. Nathan Soren, first of those that nowhere to go. There's nowhere to go for these drivers you're going to see here on the replay.
And you can see exactly what happened. Too much rear brake. You watch what this car does, ladies and gentlemen. He goes in, trying to turn, hitting the brakes, and you look at it. It's just locking up. He's trying, and well, now we have carnage hit. And look at this car. Oh, man, everybody just a pile up.
It's Aaron Kralik, who's the 16, just deciding to stop, and then more drivers just piling in. That's the 22, who had a little bit of arc brakes, not slowing down at all. You hate to see, especially for the drivers that are in the back, them not slowing down for those wrecks because you got time. I mean, you're so far back from where the incident is, and some drivers just a lack of concentration and pile-ups coming in.
That is very true, very true. And some of these drivers didn't even have time to react. They just got ran right into, like Nathan there. He was a victim of uncircumstances there. He got plowed in from the front, the back, the sides. He had nowhere to go.
Yeah, an absolute travesty there. But luckily for most of these drivers, they still have a fast repair to work with. I think the only driver that I saw that used one was Huffstutler, because he was involved in our first 2 cautions of the day, didn't have a front bumper, extremely low on power, so the 94 had to use one, currently in 18th place, but middle of the field, I don't think that's where you really want to be. You want to be up front, at least in our top 3, where they've got the most space, and they've been giving each other plenty of room to duke it out. It's been forth on back, just been on top of one another, and drivers going to the pits under this caution. Looks like the 42 of colleague coming in for a quick pit stop, get some quick repairs, and get back out there as the drivers are setting up what could be, if we can go green for a little bit here, our final restart of stage 1.
And big shout out to Debbie over there on YouTube. She's rooting on the 05 here, and then she was like, yeah, he was in the top 5, and all of a sudden, yeah,
I mean, for Nathan Soren, he's still in 9th. Was slightly banged up, but luckily it was just some scrapes on the side. It wasn't complete head-on for the bumper, so Soren should be all right, but currently in 10th place, going to have to worry about a lot of the drivers that they're around and how well they can get a good restart here. And now we get to see what the 13 of Cedric Hunter, how well of his restarts are going to be, because we've been seeing Sinchek up in 2nd place for a lot of these restarts.
That is true. We'll see how this all unfolds as Hines in that 01. He's getting ready to take off. Oh, he slipped a little bit there, but he got it back under control. Great restart by that gentleman.
Yeah, I mean, Cedric Connor, he really started to time that. And that slip up by Hines, it's giving an opportunity for the 13 now to be side-by-side at the quarter panel. Now they're side-by-side, door-by-door on the entry of 3 and 2 completely different entries. And I got to give it to the 13. He's going to have a massive run here on the straightaway.
Like if he can do that in 1 and 2 again, he should be able to clear that 0-1, and he's going to get a good run coming off turn 2, and he does. He clears them to take over the lead. See if he can lead his first lap of tonight's race on lap 60. 10 laps to go until that stage, Sam. So now it's starting to heat up here.
Yeah, Cedric Connor, he is now going to be just focusing, pulling away. And I think the goal for the 0-1 is not to lose too many positions. Sinjak as well as Rochelle, part of RS Racing. That is the team that was dominating last season. They're now making a charge in the top 5. Vincent Sora, he's now cracked it into the top 5. Started back in 17th. He had to really make a lot of moves, but then behind them, you've got that of Johnson, Cochran, Morris. They're all piled up side by side to see how well they can start to move forward, but it just seems like they're all stalling out between the 2 and the 23, building a wall around 7th place on back.
Come back here, you can see, like you said, bumping and shoving there from the 49 and the 2. They were giving a little bit of love tapping, like you were saying, starting the battle here. Oh man, we got people. Wow, that 49 is getting in. Who's the 49? Oh, that's Bird, Ryan. Watch Ryan enter these turns here, Sam. He's look right on the 2 again.
He's got to stop this, because if somehow he's able to get by that of Danny Cochran, Bird is going to get payback at some point where he's going to get shoved around, but he's going to be ducking it low. Here comes Bird trying to get by the 2 as we're running out of time for these drivers. 6 laps to go here in stage number 1. We race to the end of lap number 70, but drama and already built up emotions. We're not even at the halfway marker for these drivers. They got to be patient as we keep on marching forward.
Come up here to Kyle as he's going to try. He's running up here in 4th position right now. He's going to try to look down underneath of Hines here in that 0-1, and it looks like, I'm not sure what's going on with that 0-1 there, Sam. He was dominant pretty much, and Cedric just checked out from everybody.
Yeah, the 0-1 was great for those first about 30, 35 laps, and he's been slowly, because of his great restarts, it's allowed him to stay up front. But you're seeing the differences here. About 45 laps into a run, you'll see who's got the short run setups and who doesn't. And Hines might be quick if we have a green-white checker situation and he's up in 2nd or 3rd place. But if we go for a longer run, that's 0-1. He is praying for tires at this point, as now it's 3 laps to go in stage 1. And this is disaster for Corey Hines. Led the first 60 laps of the race, and now back to 7th and falling back fast.
Yeah, he is struggling hard. And like you said, long run speed, it's starting to look like Tom and Cedric got the long run car right now. As right now, Cedric just really has a long run car, as he's 2 seconds ahead here as we're getting ready to go here to get the white flag for our first stage here on lap 70 with the NAISCC Cup Series here on Freaky Fast Broadcasting.
Round 2 here at Northwest Wilkesboro, and I gotta say, Cedric Connor, the longer the run goes on, the Hello Kitty machine looks poised to win the race, and he's still got a lot of work to do. But out of 4, stage 1 goes to the 13, and now it's the battle for who's gonna get 5th position, and it's gonna go to that of Brian Johnson of the 28. Jacob Morris just falling short.
Congratulations to Cedric Connor on getting a stage 1 win here, as last week, as we know, Cat 5 top 3, and right now Cat 5 is still showing the way here. Man, some of these teams might want to put down the gauntlet and figure something out, because right now Cat 5 is just looking strong out there, Sam.
Yeah, and for a lot of these drivers, especially that of our leader, I mean, it started back in 18th for Cedric Connor. He was moving forward with Vincent Sora, leading the charge at those drivers that were outside of the top 10, making their moves in. And it's a question of how well are they going to do here on pit stops. You threw out the strategy of some drivers maybe not pitting, and it looks like for some, they're going to be doing just that, as Johnson, he's going to be staying out trying to get a lap led to get 1 bonus point for these drivers. And the bonus point system is really interesting on how they're going to be attacking this, because the top 5, they're the only ones getting stage points. So first place gets 5 points, and then it drops down a point until you get to 5th, where they get 1. Most laps led, you get 3 bonus points. And if you win the race, 10 bonus points. And if you lead a lap, just 1 measly point. So, and each one of those points adds up to the end of the season when playoffs come around, and it's going to be so important in the end of July when that comes to fruition.
That is correct. That's right here. We have our stage 1 winner here, Cedric Connor. Congratulations to him. Getting his first stage win here of the season here in season 3. second race that these guys been in, so he finally gets that stage win and gets that off his monkey there, Sam.
Yeah, able to get some type of points for the 13. He ran well last week. Was the main blocker for Cat 5 last week when they went 1, 2, 3. He was blocking, defending, holding off that of David Du, Patrick Hernandez, and Vincent Sora last week, and now trying to get a win. And, you know, at these short tracks, you got to take what you can get. And what's interesting is for some drivers, they tried something different. That of Brandon Colley. He is actually going to be staying out. He pitted 18 laps ago, and it looks like he'll be staying out. And also for Johnson, he is going to be doing the strategy he talked about of staying out, but he did not take fuel either, so he's just stretching it as far as he can go fuel run wise, and understanding, hey, I can make it at least halfway, make a pit stop, get my tires, I'm good to go.
Jacob Morse here in the 23, as it looks like Rachel is that I will get it out, Sam. Morris's wife is watching. My God, I got a tongue twister going. I do apologize.
It's completely all right. I know, Robert, you've got 2 jobs going on, so it is completely okay that you're being tongue twisted. You're running the cameras, we're loving all the action we're able to see, and also talking. So you're doing a great job.
Well, thank you. As it looks like down here on his scoring card, this is awesome. Thank you, Jacob Morris, for doing this. 1 career NAISCC win. So that's awesome that he put that data in there for us to know that he has 1 win in this league. So hopefully he can make number 2 here tonight. As you said, during practice and practice all week, he looked very, very strong. And we'll see what he can do, as he's back here right now battling in 9th position, and he's trying to work his way up through the field.
Yeah, I mean, Jacob Morris, he's been in the top 10 all race long, and he is looking quick. Just needs to be patient on how he's going to attack the field. But Cedric, he won the stage and already has passed his 2 teammates up to the lead. And, you know, we're about to see the major difference between old tires and new. Colley, he's on just 18 lap old tires compared to the other drivers. That's the difference between them. So he should be able to hold off, but he does have a lot of damage that's hindering the 42. And then for the 28, he's just going to be blocking the best that he can. He hasn't pitted yet, still on the tires that he started the race on. And I'm expecting someone to get frustrated and move that 28 out of the way.
Oh, bump and run, baby. That's what we call racing. Bump and run if you need to. But a couple laps ago here, Cedric Connor put down the fastest lap of the race with an 18.78 there, Sam. He is on a rail right now.
Yeah, and that's almost the fastest. I think that is the fastest that he's ran through practice, qualifying in the race. That is the fastest we've seen the 17B, and that is an incredible time for himself. But man, all the drivers for second on back, yeah, it's Cat 5. They're staying side by side and holding everyone off, allowing Cedric Connor to just pull away. And you're seeing the frustration when you're watching the 8. He is just not, he wants to move the cars in front of him, but understanding the big picture, if he wrecks one, it could be taking him out and the rest of the field behind him.
Well, but the thing is as race car drivers, and you know it, Sam, you race out there, you're only going to put up with that for so much until finally you move somebody. And it's either you're going to move them to the point, like you said, you're going to wind up wrecking half the field, or you're going to move them and put them into the wall. One or the other is going to happen. That's just the nature of a race car driver.
And Senchek finally able to get by both of them, and it really was Brian Johnson. He just did not have any more tires to try to hold off the rest of the field. He's going to stay low. Everyone's going to pass the 27 on the high side, and the question is, how strong is Colley going to be? It looks like he'll be doing the same, going low and let everyone on the high line. But with that battling that was going on, it's built up a 2-second gap between our leader and second place. And now Sinchek's got to worry about that of Vincent Sora, Kyle Rochelle. They've been looking quick, and once the run goes further and further along, they've been very quick for themselves. Jacob Morris, now he's up to the 5th position, cracking the top 5. But for the 66, what a great run for himself. Started back in 27th position. Gregory Skull is going to be now up to 7th. What a great charge for the 66.
Yeah, 66 has got a great charge, but I am just for some reason, I'm focused on this Morris right now. Jacob Morris, just riding along with him, he's very smooth, Sam. You can watch everybody. Just listen to this throttle play. Very easy. He's nice and easy. Yeah, he's got this track figured out, just like Cedric Connor and the rest of these guys. But look at him. He's moving himself now up to 4th position.
Yeah, and that move actually is now poisoning Skull to want to follow suit. And almost wanted to follow the 23, not able to, but Jacob Morris, very quick. Of all the practices I was watching, he was great for those first about 30 to 40 laps, and then he started to fade off a little bit. I think it's because he got giddy. He's worked on the setup since, Thursday's practice to now, and trying to, figure out how he wants to attack. Does he want to save his tires early on, or does he want to be one of the fastest drivers on track early? I think he's gone with the stay smooth, save the tires. He's got a great shot for a top 5 here tonight.
That is correct. As we're back here now watching that whoa, what the? Wow. Sorry, I was just watching the 05 just all of a sudden get wiggly, and I'm not sure if he got hit by the 24 or not, but he was all sideways.
Yeah, Nathan Sorens have just been having a hard day. He also has not taken a fast repair, so the damage that he was given as they're wrecking behind him, that is going to be that of Patrick Hernandez completely sideways. And also going to be costing, Hernandez hard, like his engine is completely blown. It looks like the wreck started with the 19, got loose, overcorrected, and also going to be collecting that of the 59.
So we watch right here as Cedric Connor is right in front of him. He's going to come down. No, that's Zach Hall. Do apologize. In the 32. And we've got the 20 and the 19. And you can see that thing just all overcorrected it right into the wall. And we have what we like to call here, Lee calls it, freaky fast carnage. I can't do Lee.
No one can do Lee. The 3 also involved, also the 16. Ehart just come to a complete stop, but that hard contact to the outside barrier blows up the engine, and now Hernandez is going to have to use a fast repair if he still has one left. It's a great question for some of these drivers, as that was your Freaky Fast broadcast replay. And just a simple overcorrection. That happens so often when for some drivers where they can just sense the car's going to snap, and instead of letting off and trying to let your pace hold you, you try to save yourself with the steering wheel, and it can cause damage like that.
Yeah, and you actually do more damage than if you would have just got off the gas and let the car balance itself out. Basically what happened was there was too much weight pushed to the front of the car, and then you tried to overcorrect it, which then takes that weight from the right front and slams it to the left rear, and well, guess where you go? To the wall.
Yeah, absolutely frustrating time for Hernandez, but
look at Max.
Max Foner. They're trying to be giving Max some of his laps back after internet woes. 51 did qualify in second, tied with Corey Hines, who got the pole position. It looks like Max now going to be only 3 laps down instead of 4. Also, for note, looking at some of the drivers and where they're at, we do have our first DNF. That is going to be Adam Lang, who's going to be DNFing. And while I say that, though, it looks like he's connected back. He's been blinking in and out most of the race, but the 59, he's back in this thing. And Patrick Hernandez did not have a fast repair left. He's going to have to manually repair, and decides no, he is done. Going to be parking it for the 19.
What a strong battle he had last week at the season opener, and unfortunately the woes keep on continuing with that Toyota 19 machine Corsair. But I'm sure he can bounce back next week. He'll put everything back the way you need to be. Like they always say, next week's another week, man.
Yeah, next week it is going to be a fun week. Auto Club next week, and then after that they go road course racing at Sonoma. And then after our 4 starting races, All-Star Race is going to be our 5th week of the season. Going to be at the Bristol Dirt Course. So good to see some mud slinging.
Unfortunately, we're not going to see it because I'll be on vacation.
Oh, no. Somebody will stream it.
they scheduled that for a reason. They put that race there because they knew I was going on vacation. So that's when they're running their All-Star race. So I do apologize to the fans. We're not going to see their All-Star race in Season 3. So
I'd imagine someone's going to live stream it on their POV on their ideas. But looking at now, we're green. Hunter immediately takes off, and now we get to see what does Cedric have. He was being blocked and held up for, making the gap between first and second up to 2 seconds. But is Cedric now being the block he is? Looks like that of Jacob Morris. He really wants to take off, about to push Cedric out of the way. But Vincent Sora also stuck on the inside, not able to make any moves as everyone's just clogged up and stuck. Also the 66, now up to 4th.
Great rebound and great runs by all these guys here. As Gregory is in that 66, he's moving himself up through here. In that Toyota, I really like this guy. He's running a Toyota. Thank you, sir.
Yeah, and looking at the field, 6 out of our top 10, all drivers that started outside of the top 10 on the grid, able to really rebound and help themselves out. It's a great showing by some guys. But you might be wondering, where's our pole sitter? Well, he's back in 12th, surrounded by lap traffic. And that's going to be Corey Hines, who's just, he's kind of stuck. And it's showing that the 0-1, great, quick, early in the first 30 laps and when there's fresh air. But when he's behind someone else, the 0-1 has nowhere to go, and he is boxed in.
That, and also great qualifying there from that 32 of Zach Hall. He has fallen back to the field, too. We have Adam Westfield back here in that 88. He is down 8 positions, trying to rebound back up through. So like you said here, Sam, the back half of the field is now into the front, and then the front is into the back.
Yeah, and some of the other drivers that are back here that we haven't really talked about all season, Colin Bauer, going to be in 18th. It started from 27, first start of the season. Started back in 21st, been able to move up 4 positions. And, all you want to see is where you qualify, move up a position or 2. And that counts as a great positive for some of these drivers.
Oh, yeah. You don't have to win a race to win. You race the race, you race the track, and you race the cars around you. And if the win happens, yeah, great, man. Everybody wants to get a win, of course. But sometimes you just got to sit back and say, okay, I got a 10th place car, I got an 8th place car, I got a 3rd place car, and just take it and roll on to the following week and try to improve on that, previous race that you had.
Yeah, and it's so important to be improving each and every week. And, like we said, some of these drivers are back, their goal just to improve. For some of them, it's to win the race. And I got to say, for Cedric Connor, his goal obviously was to win this thing, up to almost the 2.5 gap over that of Cedric. With Cedric, he's losing time because Jacob Morris is below the 8 and trying to make the pass for 2nd place.
Keeps on battling there. Thank you, everybody out there on Facebook for tuning in, giving the hearts and the loves. We do much appreciate it. Don't forget to share this to your friends and families out there so they can come out, enjoy, and root on your favorite driver. Or if you're in a different league and broadcaster here at Freaky Fast, so they can come out and watch you, do your thing and race with Sam and Zach Hall and Brandon Colley and everybody up here at the Freaky Fast broadcasting booth, and good old Lee Tidwell. Everybody out there. And then, real quick, if you're on the YouTube side, we only have 6 likes so far with 16 people watching. So if you don't mind, hit that subscribe button and like button of this video, and you can also share this to your favorite platform, social media style, and show them off your favorite driver. But all right, well, we're back to the race here, Sam. I'm done doing my rambling.
I mean, you gotta shout it out. You gotta love the broadcast. Freaky Fast Broadcasting, one of the best broadcasts that you can see here on YouTube or on Facebook. Love the racing action. Still side by side for 2nd place. Cedric, he's holding strong on the outside, and this is where the outside, the longer the run goes on, the more the 8's gonna have a better shot of passing the 23 like he just did there. The issue is they've burned off so much time, giving that of Cedric Connor now over close to a 2-second lead over everyone else, and also you're burning up your tires with how much harder you have to run.
That, and yes, he's got right now a 1.9 second lead over that 8. Now, I am thinking of exactly where we talked about this. If you haven't watched it, go back and watch last week's race. But Category 5 finished 1, 2, 3. I'm thinking of the point system right now here, Sam, and if the finishing positions would be right now, this could really shake up the point systems. Now, I know it's only the second race of the season, but you got Brian Johnson running. Where is Brian Johnson running? I do apologize.
He's running in ninth. He's in ninth place currently. Right,
back here in 9th and 8th. So you got Cedric Connor that finished 3rd last week. He's gonna, say he would win the race. That would help him. And then we got who finished? Do you know who finished 4th?
4th place. That was going to be Duke John. I mean, that's going to be David Duke, who did not even show up for this race. So he's going to be even dropping even further down with getting no points.
So from 5th position all the way down to say 10th. Man, wow, 2 races into this and the point standings already getting interesting.
Yeah, I mean, that's the big thing about early in the season is in the first about 4 races of the season, you can really make jumps on where your positioning is points-wise. If you're outside of the top, 16, top 16, make it into playoffs, and you have a great run your second race when you didn't hit the first, you can really bump up into the top 16. And so for some of those drivers, I mean, Jacob Morris, he's one of those guys who's really trying to make a jump up for himself. He finished 11th last week, currently in 3rd. So one of those drivers. Also for Shaw, he's in 4th. Didn't show up last week. This is his first race of the season, and he's running up in 4th place. These are the type of runs that you need if you want to be putting yourself with a chance to even make the playoffs.
Right, correct, exactly. You could do a lot of leapfrogging here with, if you had a bad race, and we see this in real life. You get out there and real NASCAR drivers, again, everybody wants to finish the race, but if you have that one bad race, and it happens, especially at Daytona or Talladega, you can move on and rebound really, really, really fast within the first 4 weeks, like you said, Sam. So very good talking point there, man.
Caution flag waves, cars in the back having issues. That's going to be James Searfoss, who's going to be having issues in the 3. Comes down into Jacob Morris. No, you can't be moving. You got to stay stable. And one of our front runners now collided into this wreck late in the caution.
Well, we'll watch back here on the Freaky Fast replay. See what this 3 car's doing here. As it looks like the 45 gets up into the wall. Oh, he slams him down, and there is nowhere to go for him. He bounces it off the inside wall. Hopefully he was holding the brakes, and he slides up to the middle of the track here. And this is where the carnage happens. Oh, here comes the leader.
Yeah, and then he's going to drive down, and Jacob Morris expecting the 3 to continue to hold his brake, and the 3 comes down and runs right into him here. Our 3rd place runner, currently 2nd, now involved in a wreck that he never should have been a part of. And those are the mental relapses that you cannot make if you're caught up in a wreck. This is short track racing. If you've got room, make the move. But if you see traffic coming, hold the brake, let them drive around you, and then start going. You might go a lap down, but you're saving someone else's race. And now Jacob Morris, he's got to come in and get repairs done or use a fast repair. Most likely he's not going to use the fast repair, but you hate something like that to happen, especially this late in a run where you can't have issues like that.
I agree. Just mental error right there. Just hold the brakes, like you said. You're gonna go. You already spun out. Unfortunately, it was his no wrongdoing by getting in that predicament. But we say this all the time. Just hold the brakes. Just, the rest of the field's coming. They will work their way around you, and eventually an opening will come, and then you just, you nosy on your way and keep going. But unfortunately, he slid down there, and like you said, he gave Jacob Morris now damage, and how bad will that damage be for him? Now, that's the question, because he didn't come in and get fixed, Sam. So now the question is how old tires, damage, running in second position. How's this going to handle him?
Yeah, and we also notified on the broadcast, but we'll say it once again, the drivers at the start of the race only had 2 sets of tires to work with in pit road for the whole entire race to go on. So a lot of them took their first set at the end of stage 1, and now drivers are picking and choosing. Do they think this race can go green to the end, or will there be another caution? For those that think this could go green to the end, they're pitting now. Of those drivers, Tom Sinchak, who was running up in second place, second and third, he's now going to be back in 20th, being followed by Aaron Kralik, Jesse Thordick, as well as Austin Halsey. They're going to be taking their final set of tires, and we'll see how well they can be marching forward. Also, other drivers, that of James Tremmel, also David Keith Jr., and Gomillion taking their final set. And they're going to be having over about 50 laps, fresher tires than the rest of the field.
Ooh.
So now the question of how well they're going to be driving through. We saw Johnson, he was able to hold strong for about 5 to 10 laps, and then he fell back. We're going to be having less than 50 laps to go. You don't have a lot of time to make the charge forward, but it's going to be Hunter. Great move for himself, great restart, and it's going to be Jacob Morris, who did not get repairs done, got hit by the 3, currently running in second. But how well will the 23 run with this new damage?
Well, we're gonna see here in the next 5 laps to see how that thing, when these tires get back heated up, how much damage is gonna hurt them. But you know, a lot of these guys that pitted in the back there too, working their way up through 50 laps difference on tires here, Sam. If we do get another yellow, some of these front runners might come in and take their last set of tires, and that's just basically free positions that they don't got to battle for out on the track because of being under yellow. So they could play that game too. So this all could just, it could play right into them. You know, if we stay on a long green flag run, they're going to have better tires. If we have a yellow and people pit, they're going to move up. They're still going to have better tires, but the people that pitted, of course, are going to have better tires. So this could get very interesting.
Yeah, it's a double-sided sword because you got fresh tires to move through traffic, but you're in that traffic where we've been seeing if someone wrecks, there's a high likelihood that you're going to be involved. And luckily, a lot of these drivers still have a fast repair to work with, just in case an accident happens, but a lot of pressure they've got to worry about is still side-by-side action for that of third place. Vincent Sora and Shaw side-by-side, and they're still also trying to figure out how to get by that of the 23 of Jacob Morris. But this time around, Cedric Connor, he has not pulled away as quick as he's done before, and I think it's just because of how old the tires are, you're not able to really make those big runs, but still, he's running about a tenth to 2/10 faster than the rest of the field.
That, and we're going to be watching Tom here. Now Tom's back here running and beating and banging, and oh, there goes the professor. He got loose. That's going to be a position for him. Oh, and we got our pole sitter getting loose. And this is the question. Oh, and, oh, my goodness gracious, Sam. I'm trying to help everybody call the action, but there's so much action I can't call it all.
It's a hornet's nest. There is no space for these drivers to really go. And if you find a slot to put your car, you're going to put it there. The only issue is if you're trying to take off and fill a spot on the exit of these corners, you're going to do exactly what we saw Hustler do. Get loose, put yourself in a difficult situation where you're not able to move forward. But of those drivers that are moving forward the quickest, it's going to be Aaron Kralik leading that charge. A driver that we saw get caught up in our 4th accident of the day. He's used a fast repair and now is making his charge through. And look at the drivers around him. Still, Colley has still not used the fast repair yet. Wondering when the 42 will do that. And some of the other drivers as well, still running around the middle pack on how well they can get through. But it's just, you're kind of stuck. There's so much traffic. And for that of the 16 and the 8, there's no way for them to move the high side to really start utilizing those fresh tires.
That, and it's just like you said, there's a hornet's nest. I mean, you are knuckle to knuckle racing here right now. You can't move left, you can't move right. You must hold your line. You got cars all over each other. You're trying to gain positions. Like you said, you got guys with fresh tires versus old tires. I mean, my God, look at this. These guys are just, I'd have a headache after I was done.
Yeah, I mean, you got drivers that are trying the inside lane, but you're kind of being pinched at times from the guys that are on the outside, and it's just difficult. There's nowhere to go. Update for drivers that are up front, though. Brian Johnson, our Daytona winner, he is now fully past that of Jacob Morris and Vincent Sora in second place and running about a tenth faster than his teammate of Cedric Connor, who's leading right now. The gap is about 2.1 seconds. We'll see if Johnson has enough tires and enough time to try to run down his teammate.
Well, I don't know what's going on up front, but right now in the back, we are 3 wide. 3 wide, 2 by 2 by 2, 3 wide, 2 by 2 by 2, 3 wide. Oh, my goodness.
And they are 3 wide, about 3, almost 4 rows deep. And a lot of these drivers, almost about 4 wide at times. And the difference is you got drivers that are on fresh tires and those on new, and you're trying to balance out where you can put yourself and pick the lane that you think is going to move the quickest. And in the middle of all this, it's Collie that just nowhere to go for himself. He's on the oldest tires, 81 laps for the 42. He was the first to pit under green flag racing conditions before stage 1 came to a close. And now he is a pinch, stuck in the middle, and he's just going to be a pinball going back and forth, shoving that the 14 of Thordic down low, and he drifts on the entry of turn 1, and he still stays straight. I don't know how Collie did that. But that is amazing driving right there.
I don't know how any of these guys are doing it, Sam. I'm trying to help the fans out. If you're not enjoying this, I don't know what to tell you, because this is just awesome, awesome Saturday night racing with the NAISCC Cup Series. I hope everybody here, let's see it out there in chat. I really do. I want to see if everybody's loving this, because I know I am.
Yeah, I mean, this is only round number 2. Great racing action last week. It continues on this week. I mean, the rest of the season, you never know what's going to happen. But short track racing, it's kept it wild, it's kept it crazy, but up front looking very similar to how it was last week. Cat 5, 1, 2, 3. Zach Hall now trying to get by a Vincent Sora. And for the rest of the field, this has to feel demoralizing if somehow Zach Hall can get into third.
Well, he is battling it right there, Sora. He's trying. They are side by side. Looks like Zach Hall. Nope. He's getting such a great run on that top side. You've seen it all night. The low line gets a great run entering, but you just can't get that exit off as you see the 15 pinch that 32 down on the low line again. And I don't know, man. This is going to get close.
Yeah, and they've got to be kind of nervous because the drivers that pitted on this last caution, they're now going to be coming up front. But late caution, it's going to be Austin Halsey bringing out the late yellow. And this changes everything.
Wow. Now, I do see that he did go off tracks, ladies and gentlemen. It did not trigger the yellow, but we will go here to the off track, and let's see if we can see exactly what happened. Not sure if this is gonna give it to us or not. We'll find out. And
it's just gonna be him coming on at 2, and you see it there completely loose, out of control, and Halsey dumping it into the inside guardrail, and that rips up the front bumper so much, but able to still chug along and continues on his way. But that brings out our late caution here, and now pit road is busy as a lot of drivers picking and choosing if they're going to be coming in and staying out. That's going to be Loveland, Hunter, Sora, as well as Kralik and Sinchek that all pitted on that last caution. Leading the charge of those that came in, Brian Johnson. Man, this is when things get tricky, because now it's the question for those that just came in. Do they just take, just 2 tires? Do they take 4? And it looks like 4 tires. Zach Hall leading that charge in 14th position. And we'll see with these fresh tires, is it enough for him to pull away? This is completely shocking to see that and Sora and as well Loveland not coming in.
Yeah, I just don't, man, I don't know. We're going to have, 22 laps maybe to go when we go back green. And we seen what Tom and the 16 had to do and how long it took them. And they didn't really move up through the field. They clipped off a couple positions, but nothing like what you would think they would on fresh tires. I really don't know if Zach Hall, Brian Johnson, and all these guys that pitted can work their way up with 20 laps to go. I mean, I just don't see it, Sam.
Yeah, I mean, it took for Kralik and Sinchek, it took them about 20 laps for them to move up from 20th and 21st position up to around 8th and 9th, and they just got to the tail end of that lead pack. So just with about 20 laps, they were able to make that big of a charge. And remember, they started back in 20th and they moved up to 9th. Now we're going to be seeing Zach Hall. He's going to be in 13th, and with that math, it might put him up to around 3rd place, could come up slightly short with how many laps are going to be left in this thing, but you never know. With short track racing, the saying is cautions breed cautions, and short tempers certainly have come out here early on. You saw drivers utilizing the bump and run so early in the first 20 laps. Payback could be used either on this race, at the end of this thing, or in future races.
We're calling it now here at Freaky Fest.
I mean, you never know when drivers are going to get a payback. Some of them, you know, if both drivers make the playoffs, it's about, hey, I'm not letting this guy win the championship.
Yeah.
And if you don't make the playoffs, and you're still thinking, I'm not letting this guy win the championship.
Yeah.
So you don't want to make your enemies this early on in the season. That is for sure. But for those that are up front, it's going to be that of Cedric Connor, as well as Vincent Soar, James Loveland, Eric Kralik, and Tom Sinchek, your top 5, as green flag in the air as we get racing, as this is going to be a wild one. 21 laps to go as Cedric Connor, he is trying to pull away as much as he can. He's going to be feeling that pressure from Tom Sinchek. The 8 is the one to watch out for, and the 16. They're on the freshest tires of those up front, but all the way in the back, Zach Hall, he's already up, but caution, as that is going to be Johnson, caught up in this thing. Able to stay straight, but it's going to be a pile-up coming out of 4.
Oh, my. Oh, a lot of vehicles involved into this one. We got Brian Johnson, Brandon Cawley, Max, Adams, James, Tyler, all involved into this one here, Sam, as we will go back and see what happened here on the Freaky Fast replay, with Brian Johnson coming down into turn 3 and 4. And Zach
Hall
wide
in front of him.
Yeah, Zach Hall's all the way down on the apron, basically. Whoa. Oh, Rochelle, I think, just got the left rear of the 20. Yep, we did.
Expecting the 28 to get up to speed, giving a bump, and everyone just according behind them. Johnson comes back, and oh, man. That is frustration for a lot of drivers that did not want to see that.
No, I mean, but James Loveland and Cedric Connor wanted to see it.
Yeah, I mean, for them, it worked out, for sure. With those older tires, now they can get a lot more laps clicked off with these pace laps. And then on these restarts, they're able to get at least a half a second over the cars behind them. And still, the ones that they were watching out for, that's the 8 and the 16. They were back in 8th and 9th place. They've moved up a few positions, now up to 4th and 5th. And they're the odds-on favorite in this current position. It is really Sinchek, Kralik, and Tremmel that are 4th, 5th, and 6th currently. And then there's a wall behind him of drivers that are trying to make their way forward. Zach Hall, what a great move for himself. Started from 13th up to 10th in just a lap or so. So that 32, learning how to cut his way through traffic as well. And now that he's up in the top 10, there's not much jam-packed and 3-wide attempts as there is back in 15th and 16th.
Yeah, that's going to be, about 15 laps to go. We'll have to see what that 66 can do. We can have to see what the 45 can do. Like you said, Zach Hall in that 32. We got the Professor. Got Adams up here running. They pitted on lap 72 and 92. So they're on old tires.
Yeah, it is. It's going to be a lot. A lot of strategy has been thrown into this thing because at this point for Hunter and Loveland, they're kind of have to sit in the bed that they've made. There's not very many options for them at this point as drivers get in the lines up and ready to go. Do want to give big thanks to SimBox Store. You'll look them up on Facebook at SimBox Store or view them on their box options on their eBay store. SimBox Store, you really push our buttons. Also to that of ButtKicker. If you go on ButtKicker, go for and buy the Gamer 2, you can put in the promo code of FreakyFast20, and we would love for you to use that promo code. ButtKicker, feel what you've been missing. Green flag in the air. It's going to be Hunter giving us to the green flag, and Loveland stuck on the high side as that of Soren and others throwing it down into the inside, but it's going to be Kralik being able to get ahead, and also the 8. They've done a great job cutting their way through, now up to 3rd and 4th.
Well, we'll see what Tom can do here with the 56 of Loveland. He's got better tires, and as he's going to try to work them down here into turn 1. He is going to get on the inside. Oh, he's a little bit loose down there, but oh, and they almost door touch.
And then just slightly behind them, Zach Hall, he's up to 6th place on the inside, following that of Kralik and of that of Senchek. They're doing a great job. The difference currently between our leaders and the 8 is about 0.6, 0.7 seconds. I don't think that's enough as we're coming closer and closer to 12, almost 10 laps to go in this race. And the pressure is on for Cedric Connor. He's on so much older tires. Late caution. It's going to be Colley involved as well as Ehart.
Oh my goodness. Caution number 11 is out tonight with 12 laps to go. And we'll go back here on the Freaky Fast replay and see what happened to Colley and Tyler here. As we'll see what happens with that 42 as it looks like he's going down in the turn. Well, the turns look the same to me, so I do apologize. Turn 3? Turn 4? I don't know, but wow.
Yeah, they were coming off of turn number 2, and Ehart it gets a little bit of a bump with the 27 and comes down into Johnson, which skews them, and the 25 gets into Colley, and nowhere to go for those drivers. And, man, they're in the back, trying to gain as many positions as possible, especially for, that of Johnson, who he's on those older tires, needs to make these moves. He's on the freshest of tires, trying to make as many moves forward as possible late in this race. But with that caution, it is setting up Hunter with the biggest challenge of the night. He's going to have that of Tom Senchek, fresh tires to his outside, and directly behind him, he's got Loveland, who's not really going to be blocking Kralik either. Kralik's going to be on the outside with the fresh tires as well.
And you got Zach Hall with fresh tires. He's got, I don't know. I think from what the looks of tonight's race, though, Sam, I do think that Cedric Connor, as long as he can get out in front, I think he should be okay. It looks like we're going to be 8 laps to go. I would say this is a race for him to lose, and he's just got to hit his marks, and we'll have to see, because it's so hard to pass on the high side, as we've seen all night, these drivers fighting it.
Yeah, and now I'm going to be going through our top 10 very quickly here. We got Cedric Connor, Tom Senchek, James Loveland, Aaron Kralik, and Vincent Sawyer, your top 5. Then you got Zach Hall, James Tremmel, as well as that of Hut Stuffler, Thordick, Westfield. That's your top 10. You got Gilmillion, Rochelle, Shaw Heights, and that of Daniel Keith Jr., your top 15. Your pole sitter back in 14th position. A shocker, but it just seems like that dirty air not allowing the 0-1 to run as quick as he was when he was leading this race.
And that's something we didn't talk about all night, dirty air. I know we're on 11th caution, but after 15 laps, I'm sure these guys are dealing with some dirty air too. So that could be the reason why a lot of these guys are playing with their brake bias and shoving it to the back, which is making the cars more loose, because you got to try to loosen the car up in dirty air, and so, that might work for some, but right now it's not looking like it's working for a lot of guys, actually.
Well, there's going to be an extra wave around this time. I mean, a couple of cautions ago. So
yes, they
it's now
warned us
changed.
about that.
It's changed the fact a little bit, but 7 laps to go. Can Cedric Connor carry this on with the older tires? It just doesn't look probable, but can Senchek? He's going to be riding all the way on that 3rd lane, trying to get the momentum off the corner. And if Senchek's able to make the pass on Hunter, who else could possibly try to run down Senchek? Zach Hall looking like the odds, looking like a favorite if he could somehow get past the wall of Kralik and Sora in front of him, as they're battling for 4th place. As Hunter, he's got about 3/10, but here comes Tom. He's right on the back bumper of the 13.
You're right. I think, okay, I was wrong. 6 laps to go. You might not be able to hold him off here, Sam. He's going to try his hardest. He's going to 5 to go. Cedric Connor is known for blocking, and I call Cedric Connor the block king because he knows how to block.
Yeah, we saw it very clearly last week at Daytona. He was the guard that was blocking. Senchek giving the bumper. He now goes to the inside. Here comes the 8. He's got the fresher tires, and now he's going to duck it low. Does Hunter have enough grip on the outside? Late caution. Hunter's in the lead. They bump off of one another, but late caution in the back. This is going to be putting us in a green-white checkered situation.
Wow, Cedric Connor, I don't know if he wanted to see this. I don't know if Tom wanted to see this, but we got it. Caution number 12, as it looks like the 42 was involved again. It's just not Colley's night here. He's getting beat up left and right.
Yeah, you're going to be seeing it. It's going to be on the exit of turn 4 and really in the middle. If you're going to see the 5 in the right side of your corner come in a little bit too hot and bump the 42, which is going to ignite all of the carnage following suit. And we've seen the 5 and the 42 make contact with one another. It's not purposeful, but just due to all the cautions that have happened, they've actually ran into one another. But luckily, no one else was truly involved in that thing. But that will bring out another caution. The 5 not able to fully control. But I would say with this late caution, Cedric Connor is now in the best position he could be. He needed a green and white checkered scenario, and this is going to be our first attempt of 3 if needed. If we are not able to get to the white flag on this attempt, we'll go to our second attempt. Same thing happens there. We'll go to our third and final. Whatever flag comes in during that time, then we'll end the race. But we saw there, Tom Sinchak, he was not able to catch up to the 13th bumper until that 3rd lap. This is great for Hunter. He can really get a great launch here. It matters on how well he can get on the throttle on this restart on if he's going to win this race or not.
Very, very true, Sam. Man, this is going to be interesting. This is the start of Cedric. Well, it could be the next 3 restarts of Cedric's career here, starting here with NAISCC Cup Series on Saturday nights. You know, I don't know, man. We're gonna have to wait and see. I've known Cedric for probably about 4 years now, and like I said, he's the master of blocking. But Tom looks like he's the master of knowing how to take a sledgehammer and knock it down the wall, because he got him in the left rear and he got them all loose, and he was pushing them through the corners, and he would have passed him if that yellow didn't come out.
Yeah, and Cedric came over the radio after the yellow and finally caught his breath. He was just like, man, that caution came at the perfect time. And, a little bit of glee coming off the 13. But this is our first attempt at a green-white checkered situation. So these drivers, they really got to focus up on how they're going to be attacking this. For those that are behind our leader, they've also got to guess correctly as well. Loveland, he's on the same strategy as Hunter. If he can somehow stay right on the back bumper of the 13, he might be able to try to hold off and stay in the top 5, because these guys have been out here on these tires for over 100 laps when we go green.
Well, that, and if something happens with Cedric and Tom up here, Loveland or Aaron could pounce on this. You got Zach Hall back there. You got Vincent. You got a lot of guys that could win this race with a little bump and run of something happening up here with the two leaders, as we'll find out here as we go back in. Wow, what a jump by Cedric Connor. That's what he needed.
The perfect restart. These drivers are allowed. Once the pace truck goes in, you take off. Loveland now going to be side by side. Well, Hunter has over a 0.3 second gap. That's exactly what he needed. As they're coming around turn number 4, Cedric Connor, he wants to see the white flag. It's in the air, but we can't get to it. Yellow flag out. We have to go for a second attempt as more carnage in the back happens.
Oh my goodness. Cedric is probably beating the wheel right now.
The perfect restart that was needed, and it comes out with the yellow flag. Frustration has to come out, but a driver that was running so well caught up in the middle of this thing. Looks like Gregory Schall going to be involved in this one.
And we see him coming down into turn 3 here, 3 and 4, and Morris got into the 27, and that just causes a chain reaction, and you're going to see everybody check out. Brian Johnson's involved into it. The 24 spins the 45 around. Oh, look at Brandon Cawley. Poor Brandon Cawley's got nowhere to go either. Oh, he hit the
got
wall.
on the brakes.
Well, at least he wasn't physically involved into it.
Yeah, I mean, that's a positive to take out of it.
Right,
but
right.
it's a short track race, and you're coming to the end of this thing. You don't care.
Yeah.
Oh, man. Well, that's our first attempt. Drivers.
Oh, looks like we lost Sam, unfortunately. He said drivers. Oh, he's back.
Oh, I'm back. Drivers are certainly getting prepared for this thing, but for those, some might be taking a chance to take some tires. That's what Danny Cochran went for on this caution. Came in, getting some service done. He had to use a fast repair for the 2, which now puts him all the way back in 25th. That's not where you want to be.
Yeah, that red X button, you don't push it.
No, you don't. I was just like pressing buttons, trying to make sure it had all my telemetry right, and then
all of a sudden,
oh, that's the wrong button.
He ran to the restroom real quick, ladies and gentlemen.
I'll just magic trick.
Well, hopefully everybody enjoyed tonight's content out there, and stay tuned for our top 3 interviews here on whoever that's going to be.
Yeah, I mean, I got a feeling that Cedric's going to be there. Sinchek might be there as well. But I don't know about Loveland. Loveland is in a very tough spot because Zach Hall was able to move up another position. He'll be on the outside. That is going to be the lane that really is going to be taking off here if the 8 can get going. So even second place might be in a trouble spot if Hall can really get his tires moving and can make some quick moves. I mean, these drivers are only going to have maybe 3 corners to make great passing attempts. Just because corner number 1, it's all about getting up to speed for some, and then coming into corner number 3, that is when they can make their first attempt. But I think most, if we can get to the white flag, corner number 1 is where we're going to be seeing some drivers getting dumped, and as well enter turn number 3 if we get to the white flag.
Well, I do know teamwork is all out the window with all the teams here, so we'll have to see how this plays out if we get 2x2x2. Great jump again, but not as good as last time, but he still got a good jump there from Cedric Connor.
Yeah, I mean, absolutely was trying his best, but it's going to be Tom Sinchek right at the quarter panel. That's where he needs to be if he wants a chance to make a pass. Zach Hall also going to be right on the back bumper of the 8. If they can get going, Hall, think about the middle possibly here. As he finds space, he'll be ducking it low. Here comes Sinchek. Woo, a little bit of a bump there. Wasn't enough, though. And Hall now going to be trying the outside. The 8 goes spinning around, and now it's going to be Zach Hall. Does he have enough space to catch up? And he'll be sending it in. Won't get it on his back bumper of his teammate, but we'll try off the exit. Side by side. Hall gets loose.
No!
Cedric Connor wins. And they are calamity behind. We're still trying to see who's going to come across the line second.
I think it's Hall.
Hall spun it. He had enough space. Yeah, his back bumper came across the line second place. Loveland third, Vincent Sora fourth, and where's the 8? He dropped all the way back to 27th when he entered the corner in second.
My God.
Short track racing, very loose off exits, cars feeling giddy. They want to get going as fast as possible. They see their chances, and it backfired, both for that of the 8 and for the 32. But luckily, Hall, that spin and him hitting the wall had enough momentum to cross the line before we saw the rest of the field come across.
That was crazy ending here tonight with these guys. Well, everybody stay tuned as we are going to get to talk to the top 3 of Zach Hall, Cedric Connor, and James Loveland's going to pull it out there in 3rd position. So stay tuned. We will be right back as we get everybody gathered for our post-race interviews.
It took 2 attempts to get it done under overtime rules, and we got to see a winner. But before we talk to our winner, Cedric Connor, we got to talk to our other top 3 on the same strategy. James Loveland coming across 3rd place. James, what a chaotic sorts of events. You had 2 attempts at a green-white checkered. You were on older tires. What was going through your mind in those final 2 laps?
Yeah, it was crazy. I can't believe I even got a 3rd place. I came home really late. Didn't even get to qualify or nothing. I started in the back, and then I had to pit because my brakes were screwed up on my pedals. So I went in the pits, lost the lap, got it back, and came back up. And I don't think I had enough tire to catch those 2 up front. But yeah, it was a great race. I had a good time.
Yeah, it kind of seemed like after, Tom made the pass on you, it was kind of a survival. Hope to stay in the top 5. You came away 3rd. I mean, it seemed like today was a roller coaster. What were some of the things that you were trying to focus on during the race to keep you mentally focused?
Trying to kind of save tires, but I was also trying to pass a lot of people to get up front because track position was key. There was a lot of lap traffic, double wide. It was hard to pass. So, yeah, I was just trying to manage my tires and try to get through traffic at the same time.
I mean, that was a great run for your part. And now we're done with short track racing. We get to go to Auto Club. How you feeling about going to a bigger course? We got a lot more space to work with.
I really like that track. It's a fun track. I do pretty well there. It's kind of got the multi-groove racing, and I enjoy that. So look forward to it next week and hopefully come out with a win.
Well, James, before we let you go, the floor is yours for any shout outs.
Hey, you guys for the broadcast. You always do great. Watch my post race every time on your broadcast. It's fun to watch. Also, this league for letting us run a lot of cars tonight. It was really fun racing, really close racing, tight racing. So, yeah.
Well, that's James Loveland able to come out in 3rd place, and good luck. And hopefully, we'll talk to you next week.
Yeah, thank you guys.
Great run there for the 56 on those older tires. A driver that was on newer ones had to go through a lot of work. We'll talk to Zach Hall. Zach, it's Sam at the booth. You got us?
Yeah, I got you guys.
Well, you came across the line in a sparks of glory, but you came away 2nd. How were those final 2 laps?
Oh man, those were hectic. I kind of wish we could have went a little bit of green flag laps there. It's kind of bittersweet finishing 2nd again this week. Just because I know this week is one of my strong suits here. But man, oh, those restarts there were hectic. I finally got the restart on the outside. Got a good restart there at the end. Was able to clear Loveland, and then Shincheck and Cedric were kind of going at it in front of me, and I got all over the back of Sinchek. I didn't want to hit him, and I didn't. Luckily, looking back at it, I was kind of scared I did, and I felt pretty bad if I did, but didn't. Luckily, he kind of just lost it there, unfortunately for him, because he was running a great race too. And man, just sent it into the final corner there, and Cedric kind of washed out the bottom. I think he was looking in the mirror, and I tried everything, and I had a run, so I didn't lift, and kind of spun spun myself out. But hey, we'll cross the finish line backwards 9 seconds. I'll take it.
Yeah, honestly, you had no idea who was going to come away 2nd. Saw you just slamming into the inside wall, and luckily the momentum pulled you along. You talked about how you had to go through traffic and you hope for a long green flag run, but how was it trying to stay patient while trying to cut through traffic with those fresh tires?
Oh man, it was hectic. I mean, early in the race, I made the mistake of getting a little too over aggressive for myself and put myself in the back by just almost running Shincheck over in the 3. I didn't know he was going to go to the bottom there, and kind of jumped on the brakes not to hit him, and I just lost it in front of the field. And I felt really bad for that, but just kind of patiently, methodically working my way through the field there, and the bottom came in. I mean, my teammate Cedric proved it. I mean, he figured it out there and kind of gave me some pointers, and I just started making the bottom work, and really could just pass anywhere. Then that was kind of the key to getting myself back up there, because I think once we ended the stage, I was like 27th. So to drive up back up the 2nd, I'm really really happy with the start of the season. Definitely with this.
And you touched on it. You've got now have 2 second place finishes. Is there a track now in the schedule that you kind of have circled, hoping to win there now?
Yeah, definitely. Auto Club next week is actually the one I got circled, and then next after that will be Sonoma. So we got 2 weeks in a row of really good tracks for me. Hopefully we can continue this good run of fortune. I mean, top 3s each week is what's going to win the championship. So if we can do that each week, I'll be really, really happy. But what a race! I just can't believe how it all played out there to drive back through the field and get a second place finish here tonight to carry the momentum in the Auto Club.
Yeah, I mean, for consistency, both you and Cedric both carrying that most consistent so far in our first 2 races. But before we let you go, the floor is yours for any shout outs.
Yeah, I just want to give a special shout out to my teammates, Cedric, Brian, and Brandon. Also, Hunter, Larry, all the guys out there at Category 5 Esports. They are a great group of guys, and it's been a tough few days for me here, and definitely they helped me get through it. My friends are some of the best friends that a guy could have, and really appreciate it. I'm glad Cedric could get the win. And then shout out to all the drivers and admins here at the league here, man. It's a great league. These admins work their tail off, and it's really, really fun. And I'm glad they've let us come over and race with these guys because this is a great group of guys, and the racing all night was fantastic. So I just got to commend the drivers. And last but not least, I almost forgot you guys up in the booth. Love you guys to death, and thank you for all y'all do.
Zach Hall able to get another second place finish, and good luck next week at Auto Club.
Thank you, Sam.
Now the man that had to block his way to help his teammates win last week now had to block to win this week. It's going to be Cedric Connor. Cedric, what a run and what a win to pull that Hello Kitty machine into victory lane.
I appreciate it, man. Thank you.
I mean, you had a lot of pressure. You were on the much older tires. You were constantly being hounded by drivers trying different strategies behind you. How was it trying to block and defend that position?
It was nerve-wracking. Kind of when I saw, Zach, Brian, I saw Tom, Pitt, and a few other guys. And it made me nervous, but I was kind of thinking with a bigger field, I was hoping that we were going to have at least, 15 to 20 cars that stayed out. And unfortunately, that wasn't the case. I think there was only like 10 guys or something that stayed out. So it put them a lot closer to me than I would have hoped. But nerve-wracking, man. It's, coming down to like the last 15, 20 laps, I had no grip on the front tires. If I overdrove the corner just a tiny bit, it was going up the track. So it was a handful. It was crazy.
Yeah, we saw you had 2 attempts at overtime, and the first one you had probably the best restart you could have prayed for, and the second one it wasn't as the best and a lot more pressure. How was it trying to focus for both those restarts?
Oh, the second the green flag came out and I went into turn 1, I saw I had like half a second lead and I was just gone. I was like, all right, like I needed to go green till the white flag. And unfortunately, I think we got to like maybe 20 to 50 laps or 50 feet short from the white flag, which was kind of devastating. I knew that I needed to have some other kind of restart like that, but it was going to be, I guess, predictable, which kind of led to not having as good of a restart the next time. And then from there, I was just blocking and doing as much as I can to keep him behind me. And when I saw him kind of get up on my bumper there, coming off of 2, I was like, all right, like he's probably going to move me out of the way. And I was completely, I wanted the win, but I was okay with probably not getting it just due to the circumstances. And I caught a break with him spinning out off of 2. So awesome run to Tom. Awesome run to my teammates as well for having Blackman finish in second. Was pretty cool.
Yeah, I mean, Cedric, last question. Last week you were blocking, trying to, help your teammates win. This week you're blocking to win. What is the major differences between both those scenarios if you had it 2 weeks in a row?
Blocking at a super speedway is just, when you're kind of set into that position, that, like you're going to do the best that you can, but you're more than likely, like you're the, how can I say it? You're kind of the guy that's, you'll kind of take the L. You probably won't get a great finish, but your job is to make sure that your teammates do. And then as opposed to tonight is just defend for your life and hopefully come away with it. 2 crazy finishes, both back-to-back weeks, and it really played into our favor. Let's hope that we can keep that luck going into Auto Club next week.
Well, after last week and this week, both yourself and Zach, probably one of the most consistent drivers in our first 2 races of the season. But before we let you go, the floor is yours for any shout-outs.
I appreciate it, man. I want to give you guys a huge shout out. I am really looking forward to going back and watching that broadcast tonight. I'm sure it was super entertaining. I want to give a shout out to all the drivers and admins here in this league for allowing not only myself, but Category 5 to come and race with them. It's been a lot of fun, and I really look forward to the rest of the season with these guys. They're a great group of guys, and I'm glad that we found them and we have the opportunity to race with them. Huge shout out to my race team, Category 5. Brandon kind of got unlucky, like, the same as last week, where he had the speed. He just got caught up with unfortunate circumstances. Brian had a really good run. Again, unlucky kind of with 2 incidences there. Zach had a really, really good run. Climbing his way back up to second was really, really cool. And my spotter for tonight's race, Hunter Hayward, man, he guided me and helped me out throughout the whole race and gave me the feedback and the information I needed. So huge shout out to him. Thank you to everyone, the fans and everyone out there that supports not only this league, but the broadcast. Freaky Fast is awesome. And I really look forward to next week at Auto Club.
That was a great run there, Cedric, and good luck next week. Hopefully you can carry on with this consistency.
I hope so. Thanks, man.
Well, that's your top 3. Great to talk to all of them. Different stories from all their different points of view, and it makes you more and more excited for the rest of the season. Well, our first short track, it's out of the way, but we'll take a look at our final results, as it was a very up and down day for a lot of these drivers. Cedric Connor, he's going to be top of the board for himself, but what a win for that 13th on so much older tires than the rest of the field. Zach Hall tried to do his best, charging his way. Then you got James Lovell and Vincent Sora and Aaron Kralik going to be your top 5, with James Tremmel, Kyle Rochelle, Gomillion, Hutt Stuffler as well going to be your top 10. And our pole sitter all the way back in 11th, they're for Hines, and then Nathan Soren going to be getting 11th, with Westfield, Thordick, Bird, Morris, I mean, he had a great run, caught up with a 3, and that really backtracked him, not able to gain back those positions when he was in the top 5. And again, our Daytona winner of Johnson going to be back in 16th position, with Halsey, Pittman, Morales, Danny Cochran. He was looking quick, but had some late damage that he had to get repaired as well, setting him back. And then Lang, as well as Moniz, Schall, well as that of Barl, C4, Ehart, and then Tom Sinchek second when he crossed the line for the white flag. Going to be finishing all the way back in 27th, with Brandon Colley, Dylan Keith Jr., and then those that are going to be allowed down. Max Forner did not load in immediately, started off 4 laps down, was able to get 2 laps back, but starts and finishes back in 30th position, with Degel as well as Patrick Hernandez being our one and only DNF of the day. What a race it was. Dramatic. 2 attempts at a green-white checkered here at North Wilkesboro. And this is only race in round number 2. So much more for the NAISCC Cup Series. And cannot wait to see how the rest of the season goes there, Robert.
I agree, Sam. Wow. Thank you, everybody out there, for tuning in on the Facebook and YouTube side. Man, what action-packed racing here with these guys. And we seen some beating and banging last week at Daytona with the season opener. We come here to a little bit of short track racing. I'm sure there's a little bit of tempers going on out there, and some beating and banging, and all the way down to the last lap. We seen these guys battle, and then like you said, we had 2 green-white checkers, and we seen Cedric Connor hold Tom off, which, Tom gave everything that he possibly could, and then opened up the door when he spun out, and brought Zach Hall up to second, which then Zach Hall turned around and spun out. So, wow, what great racing here from these guys here. So, but hopefully everybody enjoyed the show out there. You know what to do if you enjoyed this content. Make sure you show the love and the likes and the follows and the shares here at Freaky Fast Broadcasting. But for me, Robert A. Moyer, and Sam Dyer, dang it, I always mess up your name. I'm going to call you Dryer, you know that, right?
Oh, I am expecting it. I've heard it so many times. I am totally all right.
Well, I have to end this broadcast with me laughing, because that's just what I do. But again, thank you everybody out there. But next Saturday night, make sure you tune in, as they are going to take on Auto Club, which is high-packed, fast action racing, 200 and what do they go, about 200 miles per hour around that track, 180 to 200 miles per hour in a draft, knuckle-to-knuckle racing. So make sure you tune in next Saturday night at 8:50 when we go live with these guys. But hopefully everybody has a great rest of the weekend. We will be live tomorrow morning at 9:50 with Bonfire Racing League, as we will have Zach Hall up in the booth here calling the action with me tomorrow morning at 9:50. So make sure you grab your coffee, your donuts, your eggs, your bacon, and you sit back and you have a little bit of a freaky fast breakfast. That sounded weird. But anyways, God bless everybody. Love yous all. Peace out.